everybody, it's your girl Cat Shay with the Hobbies, coming at you with another video. And today I'm going to be doing the Diversity in Writing Stereotypes collab with the wonderful Marisa Mohi. For those of you guys who don't know, Marisa Mohi is one of my fellow Oklahoman AuthorTubers, and she was one of the panelists for the Evergreen Writing Oasis Virtual Writing Retreat Diversity panel that happened about a week ago. She had a lot of gems to drop, and it was amazing, so I am just so glad to be doing this collaboration with her. Today I'm going to be talking about diversity in writing, specifically stereotypes. I'm going to be focusing on 3 stereotypes that concern black women that I see in books and media that I think need to be spoken on, and would love to see some diversity in writing concerning that. The first stereotype that is very common for black American female main characters is the Jezebel Stereotype. So this stereotype where black women are overly sexual and therefore cannot control themselves or maintain themselves in monogamous relationships or be respectful to monogamous boundaries. This is something that you can see in shows like Being Mary Jane, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, in different books and things like that, where the black female main character cannot keep herself together sexually. And so this actually stems from the over-sexualization of black women that actually starts back in slavery days. So if you think about it, black women were not allowed to say no to black men or white men, in the aspect that when they were with black men, for a lot of purposes, they were for breeding purposes as slavery goes. The reason the Jezebel Stereotype is an issue is because it pushes the over-sexualization of black women. And this becomes an issue because black women are less likely to be believed in situations of abuse solely because they're black. There are statistics that I will keep in the description box below of just links of articles that you can read, scholarly articles about these things that talk about how people, white and black, see black girls as more adult earlier than they do their white counterparts. So in a sense, we think that they are more grown up and that they have a better understanding of sex and things at a younger age than white girls of the same age. This is an issue. And when you push this Jezebel trope, it is just furthering this issue without even realizing it. And it's something that you don't realize because 9 times out of 10, when you're writing it, you're not a part of that demographic. You're writing about something because you want to show black women to be sexually proud and things of that nature, not realizing that the way you're doing it can be problematic. Another aspect to show on this as far as the over-sexualization of black women would be Sarah Baartman. I'm going to have links to her story down below, but pretty much sum up the story, she was a South African woman whose body was put on display around Europe and was even in museums after her death. So let's think about that for a minute. This black woman's body was put on display in museums for Europeans to gawk at. And it wasn't until 2002 that her remains were brought back to her home of South Africa, and that took legal action to make happen. There are so many things about the over-sexualization about black women that people outside of that demographic will not be able to understand if they don't take the time to reach out and understand black women by speaking to them. The next stereotype that I want to talk about as far as black women are concerned in media and literature is the strong black woman trope. So this idea that black women can't be fragile, that they can't have things happen to them, and that they can't be weak about them, that they always have to be this strong matriarch, I'm going to take care of everything, I'm going to carry the whole weight on my shoulders. No. That's very problematic because it says that black women don't feel things the same way as their white counterparts. It's saying that black women don't have the ability to be weak because they constantly have to be strong, and so that keeps them from being able to deal with things properly because they believe that they have to keep this facade up because that's what everything around them shows and displays. That's what everyone expects from them, and that's something that when you're writing outside of your demographic, you have to be mindful of. We don't want to tell young black girls that they have to be these hard exterior shelled women. We want them to go ahead and be able to be women, right? We want them to be able to be free like their white counterparts. And so when you write these strong black woman characters, I know I want to show these empowering black women, and that's great, but you also have to be aware of the fact that there is a double-edged sword. And these things that you might see as great because you're on the outside looking in have a negative connotation for us as black women who live with this. The last stereotype that I want to address is the mad black woman stereotype. So this idea that black women have this ornate attitude and can get in your face and roll their neck and snap their fingers. Let me be clear. As a black woman, I'm not allowed to do that. I don't have the ability to do that. When I get upset, I have to constantly check myself because someone is expecting that of me. So that means that I have to adjust the way I respond. A perfect example of this, I'm going to link in the description box below the disability panel that Catalea Storm spoke on last month. In that panel, she spoke on how she has been a victim of people touching her hair. If you ask most black women, 9 out of 10 of us have had someone put their hands in our hair without our permission. It is a thing that happens. During this panel, other people on the panelists, Caucasian people and Caucasian people in the comments, could not believe that this is a thing that happens, nor could they not believe that it was a thing that happens and that we don't react negatively to. That's because they don't live in this skin. In this skin, we have to realize that we represent our people at all times. So we can't just get angry and react when someone puts their hands on us and they're not supposed to. That's not something that we get to do. And so when you write these characters, they get to roll their eyes and snap their necks and things like that. You're actually perpetuating this stereotype that black women don't get to be. You're showing us to be these angry black women without realizing that you are actually hindering us from actually being able to express our anger by writing these characters. Right? It's a hard thing to think about. So in these 3 examples of these 3 different stereotypes that are brought up, when you show these over-sexualized black women, you are actually hindering black women from being open about their sexuality and their sexual beings, because in that capacity, when they do that, they're already thought to be negative because of the fact that they're black. Let's go back to the mad black woman one. So when you write these characters that are angry black women and they get to go off whenever they want to, whenever they feel like it, you're actually stopping black women from being able to stand up for themselves and do those things, because people automatically expect this angry black woman whenever they're confronted with them. They don't get a chance to righteously show their anger because they're already expected to be angry, and they have to combat that. When we talk about the strong black woman trope, when you write these strong black woman characters that cannot be weak, that cannot show these emotional sides, that cannot show that they are being hurt, that things are happening to them, that always have to be the strong person, you are perpetuating these things that when young black women see these characters, they believe that they have to embody these strong black women because that's what they're shown. It's very detrimental. It's very problematic. And so in making this video, I want to show 3 things that when you're on the outside look like amazing things. They look like you're empowering black women. But what you're actually doing by not being a part of that demographic and writing that story is you are preventing the actual women who live that experience from being able to showcase those things in a positive way, in an accurate way. Marisa's video will be down in the description box below, so definitely check it out. Give her some watch time. I am so glad to be a part of this with her. I cannot wait to see her video and see what is going to be in it, because the girl drops gems, y'all, and I am here for it every single day that she does it. Alright, you guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I do know it was a lot of opinions, so I definitely want to have conversation with you. So don't forget to comment. Give me your thoughts about this. Ask me questions. I'll ask questions back. It'll be a whole thing. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.